Hello students, welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Dr. Asif Ali Sayed from the Department of Business Administration, Aligarh Muslim University, Aligarh. Today, we shall be discussing about the module Interpersonal Skills of the paper Skill Development and Social Entrepreneurship. After completing this module, the students will be able to understand the concept and relevance of interpersonal skills required in a business organization and get familiar with the dimensions of types of interpersonal skills and skill upgradation for an organization. According to interpersonal skills is introduced as a motivation, communication and team building skills which are interrelated and complementary. That's why leadership needs to develop these areas. So as a result, for effective change, development of interpersonal skills such as communication, motivation and team building is required to fully engage employees and to cultivate success. It has been reported by a number of authors that large number and variety of business publications related to social, entrepreneurial and interpersonal skills, including etiquettes in workplace, indicate a definite interest in the topic by employers. PERS 2005 identified three fundamental core words as cornerstone to business success: consideration, cooperation and communication. As a result, the need for required innovation courses in business administration curricula designed to build various social interpersonal skills from email etiquettes to effective team building skills is dedicated. Definition of interpersonal skills. Interpersonal skills can be defined broadly as those skills which one needs to in order to communicate effectively with another person or a group of people. A number of core areas exist in which competency is essential for interpersonal interactions. These include the following. First is self-awareness. Self-awareness is considered as a prerequisite for the type of others' awareness or empathy assumed to underlie effective communication. Second is effective listening. The ability to listen effectively is a core skill in a range of interpersonal situations. Third is questioning. The ability to use questions that maximize the amount of relevant to irrelevant information that is gathered in an exchange serves to enhance the communicative efficiency of the interaction. Fourth is helping or facilitating. Being effective at helping others is considered an important aspect of interpersonal competence. Ideas about helping behavior from humanistic psychology have also had an important influence in terms of generating research and developments in the areas of interpersonal skill teaching, an issue which is explored further below. And reflecting. The fifth aspect is involved with reflecting, and another skill that is closely related to the psychological sciences or counseling. More specifically is the ability to reflect or present reflections. It has been defined by Hagi and Dixon in 2004 that reflection is a statement in interviewer's own words that encapsulates and represents the essence of the interviewee's own words. Presenting reflections during interactions can serve a similar information gathering function to that seen in question. Assertiveness. Being assertive is an important interpersonal skill for interactions in all domains. Asserting oneself can serve many different communicative functions, including allowing the expression of views clearly and openly and avoidance of negative conflicts. Non-verbal communications. A number of communicative abilities also involve non-verbal behavior and an ability to detect and portray messages through this medium is also seen as a central interpersonal skill. Messages can be communicated through the following non-verbal channels. Fundamental concepts in communication and interpersonal skills. We might think that straight away we know how the concept of communication and interpersonal skills can be described and the meanings associated with the terms. Communication is to exchange information between people by means of speaking, writing, or using a common system of sign or behavior. Interpersonal skills describes the connection between two or more people or groups and their involvement with one another, especially as regards the way they behave towards and feel about one another. A systematic framework for communication and interpersonal skills. The framework we explore in this section is a universal cyclic approach that can be used in many different situations and settings. It is a framework which can be used in other contexts in which one finds themselves during the years as a student, whether this is an acute care or a community setting or a clinic or with a patient or a client group. Here we will be using it as an overarching guide to communication and interpersonal encounters in the figure given below, which involves 5 stages. The first stage is assessment, followed by planning, followed by decision making, which is followed by review and evaluation, and finally ending and close. Assessment. This is the first stage of the process and involves gathering relevant information, developing an overview of the general situation, and thinking about what needs to be done. It is also the preparatory stage for deciding whether to intervene in a situation, an intermediate stage to review or evaluate that has happened so far, or an end of care encounter to determine to what extent the intended outcome of the situation has been met. It is important to note that while an assessment is often a preliminary activity and will be written down and recorded, it is not just a bureaucratic exercise but is a part of a process that is often cyclical. The next step is to gather information using appropriate methods of communication. Addressing the need to think about non-verbal as well as verbal skills and considering the interpersonal dynamics of power and authority between the manager and the staff, gathering more information than necessary could be a waste of valuable time. Being flooded with more information than necessary could confound the picture and reduce clarity for planning. Always, facts must be separated from opinions. However, opinion may be wrong and should be verified as a fact before any intervention is taken. A well-conducted assessment during the full range of communication and interpersonal skills are complex and require patience, skill, clear thinking, vision at all levels of management. Planning. This stage is usually related to setting out the physical actions that need to take place to improve a situation, such as arranging, preparation for procedures, administering actions, and giving information or education on conditions and management of situations. From a CIPS perspective, that is communication and interpersonal skills perspective, planning is focused on less tangible factors and is more concerned with establishing the direction and meeting that the plan of action will have for a person, meeting the needs and effects of any unmet needs, establishing the impact a plan will have on a person's life, developmentally or socially, identifying the motivators and reasons for acting out a plan, establishing a psychological contract or agreement to continue with the plan, and the involvement or sign up of other professionals, co-workers or team members in the plan. This is a stage of explanation, exploration, negotiation and agreement. A basic component of planning is to understand the roles and responsibilities of others collaborating in the plan, as well as what will be expected of the team members. There will be different values and priorities to consider from different professional groups. Professional hierarchies can sometimes become obstructive where rivalry and power bids detract from the essential aim of the planning process. Partnership should therefore be the aim, not hierarchies. The third aspect is decision making. The logical conclusion of any assessment and planning is to make a decision about how to proceed, because it is unrealistic for anyone to carry out a plan by simply following instructions. This stage is therefore an analysis of how effective the plan will be and the success of subsequent interventions. This will involve weighing up the pros and cons of the facts and their value or priority in any situation, as well as the worth given to the actions in the plan and subsequent interventions. The decision-making process is about evaluating options to decide the best course of action. First, all the options have to be described. The questions to ask are as follows. What obstacles are there in relation to each option? What risks are involved? How can these be removed or minimized? Which decisions are feasible? Which of these offer a realistic chance of success? How attractive are the available options? Does one simple decision need to be made, or can a combination of decisions be made? What time frame are we working to? What might be needed to do to keep the options open for the future? And how well does the decision fit in with the existing strategies? Not all of these questions need to be answered. However, they can usefully clarify any problems ahead and how they can be addressed. Decision making is weighing up what can and cannot be achieved, deciding on the best plan of action and how to achieve success in any outcome. It is a stage that is often overlooked. The fourth step involves review and evaluation. Review is a process that takes place during any intervention and involves standing back and judging the effectiveness of what has been planned. It is a process of monitoring and checking. Evaluation, however, is identifying the strengths and weaknesses of the assessment and managerial intervention stages at any endpoint. There are three questions to ask in a review of any situation. 1. What are you trying to achieve? 2. How are you going to achieve it? 3. How will you know when you have achieved it? To answer these questions, you have to consider if the original objectives were appropriate and if there remains any obstacles to achieving the desired outcome. There may have been subtle and gradual changes in the situation, so the plan may need to be reviewed in this light. Evaluation seeks to measure how effective any intervention has been against the original aims of the objective. A judgment can also be made on the efficiency of the plan and the use of people's time and resources, with attention constantly aiming to improve our performance to identify mistakes so that they can be avoided in the future, and so that we can enhance professional credibility, provide opportunities for learning for ourselves and others, and maintain our professional and personal development. Fifth is ending and closure. The termination of our involvement with a particular event is an important factor. It is more than saying goodbye or tying up loose ends. Effective endings can reduce the likelihood of further problems arising if, for example, anticipatory information is given about likely future problems, resources for self-management, advice and education. Endings can be inhibited by dependency, resistance to change, satisfaction with working with a particular group, thus creating reluctance to move on. Failing to review objectives can result in staying too long with a problem, situation, and finally, poor time management. And a disorganized approach to workload can work against effective planning to find the appropriate time and words. Factors influencing interpersonal communication. What kind of factors influenced your choice? Is communication between people or interpersonal communication simply and only a functional part of management undertaken to get things done? Or is communication, in addition to its practical purpose, more about enriching the quality of our lives as individuals and in groups? I don't need to work at developing communication and interpersonal skills, they come naturally. This is the commonly expressed view among some students new to a profession like nursing. How true is true? Read the following paragraphs on the communication framework and then ask yourself this question again. Do communication and interpersonal skills make a difference? From a number of sources, including ordinary human experiences, there is a very important reason to accept that the skillful practice of communication and interpersonal skills makes a positive healing difference to the followers and their leaders. Specifically, this includes managers and subordinates. They have a feeling listened to, a feeling that their concerns and their roles are being validated and not trivialized, feelings which are supported in a management exercise, and feeling understood. Barriers to communication and interpersonal relationships. Before considering the barriers, it is relevant to review that the aims of communication and initiation relationships in the management context. Beyond guiding you towards effective interaction, it shall be useful in building interpersonal relationships by establishing a trustful and respectful relationship, transmitting and sharing information, exchanging ideas and understanding perceptions, creating a platform for renewed understanding, enhancing understanding of attitudes, ideas and beliefs, and achieving mutually acceptable goals for planning, intervention and actions. Thus, an essential ingredient for interaction to be effective is for meanings to be shared and understood. To do this, meanings have to be checked and an awareness created to intercept blocks of communication that can arise from the many differences in individuals, such as authority, power, language, personality, background, gender, health, race, age, and socio-economic groups. Meaning, it is believed that genuine communication can only be achieved if barriers are identified and worked through. Exploring the meaning, which is an active process created between participants in an interaction between source and receiver, speaker and listener, reader and writer, can help identify some of those barriers. Meaning is not only dependent on messages, but also on the interaction between the messages and the thoughts and feelings within those messages. Consequently, meaning is not just received, it is constructed or built up from the messages that are received and combined with social and cultural perspectives. For example, beliefs, attitudes, values. It is not just the words that people use, it is the meanings or interpretation that each person gives to the words and constructs the meaning. If the understanding of the meaning is shared, there is less likely to be a barrier to communication. The value of social interpersonal skills in business administration. The importance of the specific social interpersonal skill, etiquettes, is indicated by the fact that nearly 50% of all business transactions are finalized during a meal, as said by Wright 2005. Kasperson 2000 recommends the need to practice power etiquette in order to increase one's chance for job promotion within business administration field. Power etiquette, according to Kasperson, is the ability to learn and use social skills to transact business with thoughtful consideration. Specific skills emphasized include courtesy, politeness, and good manners. Furthermore, Kasperson 2000 demonstrates the importance that business etiquette plays in gaining and satisfying new clients, introductions, appearance, business card usage, and conversing are examples of social interpersonal skills identified as critical to success in business. Detlier 1992 demonstrates the emerging important roles of managers and business etiquette by identifying the large number of updated business etiquette guides and the increased presence of business etiquette consultants. Interpersonal skills and leadership traits. Leaders' interpersonal skills such as leaders' ability to motivate, communicate and build team had a positive effect on organizational change and leadership effectiveness. Also, the antecedents of organizational change and leadership effectiveness. Furthermore, it discusses linkage between leaders' ability to motivate, communicate, build teams and leadership effectiveness. To adjudge the leader's ability to motivate, communicate and build team, it is important at different levels of management that the event of levels of management on organizational change and leadership effectiveness. Antecedents of organizational change and leadership effectiveness. Different factors that contribute to organizational change and leadership effectiveness are leaders' ability to motivate, communicate and build team. In an organization, change did not occur unless its member groups and individuals change by adopting different behaviors, processes, framework, routines, values or goals, as reported by Coughlin 2000, Katzenkan 1996 and Sullivan. Ability to communicate. If leader has ability to communicate well, then he will be effective leader and as a result will bring positive changes in an organization, as quoted by Gilley, Macmillan and Gilley 2009. Studies show that there are certain leader skill and abilities which are positively associated with successful implementation of change, which include the leader's abilities to coach, communicate, motivate, involve others, build team and offer rewards. Ability to motivate and build teams. Leader's ability to motivate is also a great importance to leadership effectiveness as that of the leader's ability to communicate. If a leader has the ability to motivate others who are affecting his work, then a leader will be an effective leader. Ability to build team. Leaders' ability to motivate, communicate and build teams will increase leaders' success with change. Gilley, Macmillan and Gilley 2009. So, a leader will be effective if he has the ability to build and manage team and will bring positive changes in an organization. Methods to develop interpersonal skills. As with any human skill, interpersonal skill can be improved through conscious efforts. Therefore, the following steps could be adapted to develop interpersonal skills. A. The inclusion of these skills in the curriculum of all undergraduate schools. B. Inclusion in the assessment of an entry training. C. Part of an annual appraisal of managers in training. D. Be part as a part of exit assessment for postgraduates. E. Include these skills in the seniors appraisal and revalidation process. And F. Teaching these skills through courses and workshops as part of continuous education. Let us summarize the learning that we've had. Leaders' interpersonal skill, which is the ability to motivate, communicate and build team, and its effectiveness at different levels of management. Research from management practice points that interpersonal skills are important to be effective and efficient leaders at different levels of management hierarchy. Evaluation seeks to measure how effective any intervention has been, the original aim or objectives of any management exercise, and maintain our professional and personal development. Thank you.